get the hell out of here maneuver in at the end, and that just became the thing. Like,
it is my two favorite things are I should have boffed him just once. You worked that in. And then I do love the initiating getting the hell out of here maneuver. I don't know how I truly feel about the let's get the hell out of here joke at the end, but it rolls so well right into
the thing.
Yeah.
My favorite.
It just works.
My favorite is the joke. You know, hey, we create communities. We bring people together. Now get the hell out.
That is really good. That is really good.
There's an episode of Starfleet Leadership Academy where I used a drop where there's this guy. I feel awful. He's here on YouTube. He's great. He's got long red hair, and he just kind of does these jokes. Where he's just real big, super performatively liberal guy, and it's hilarious stuff. But there's a thing where they're like, "So you're all enlightened now?" He's like, "Yeah, I just believe, everyone needs to connect, and everyone has a place, and they're all so important. Oh, so you've really gotten in touch with the people from your childhood and high school and stuff." It's like, "Oh no, those people were a drain on me. I've totally left them in the dust."
Right.
Like, oh, okay, I see where you're at.
There you go. Great
shirt.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brent.
So I'm out today with the wife.
Yep. Good place to be.
Yes. It's we're out just kind of we're at like an outdoor shopping thing, get a little sun and all that sort of stuff, and she's buying these like summer sun dresses like at the end of the summer, but that's okay because it's Florida. We've still got like 6 months left of Florida.
There's a lot of summer left, especially for you.
Yeah. She has decided she's going to be a dress person from now on.
Okay.
That's what she wants to wear. That's going to be her thing. And I'm like,
don't blame her. Be great.
That sounds great. And yeah, we'll see how long. Like, your mom wore a lot of dresses, but they weren't this cute. So let's. Yeah, I love you, baby. Anyway, so we're out there
watching. It's
and
fine. She's never watched this.
No, she's never gonna watch this. I found this shirt. For those of you out there who, if you've been around for any amount of time, you understand why this is a phenomenal shirt. Means not that much to me, but I knew it would mean a lot to Jeff. It's the whole.
So great.
It's Jeff. So it's actually about like 2 sizes too large for me, but I didn't care, and I was like, I'm gonna get it for Jeff, and I'm just gonna come wear it for Jeff, and it's here for you, brother.
I love it.
Doing it for you, man. Doing it for you.
I love it. It's my favorite shirt of yours.
Fair. I'll let that be. Hey, listen, guys out there, welcome to Jeff and mine's YouTube channel. But basically, really, what you guys are watching is the behind the scenes of Jeff and I and how we create a podcast. And this is pretty much how we create a podcast. Jeff, you also have a rather neat shirt.
Oh, thank you.
You've worn this one before, though. But
it's just my command stat bar.
Yeah,
there it is.
There it is.
There it is. Whoops, Ranger thing. It's also probably 90 degrees in this room right now. Like it's got some polyester in it. It's just so hot. It's so hot.
Do you not have air conditioning?
I totally have air conditioning, but I think it's struggling to keep up.
Oh, okay.
It's just really hot up here.
Hot,
and I think it might just be the time of day. I've got the sun beating in, but this it's one of those, kind of cheap, like print over things. It's got some polyester in it, and it's, I'm going to lose weight during this recording, I think is what I'm saying. I'm going to leave it on a puddle right down here. So
that's all sorts of gross. I have a theory. I have a theory in life is that to maintain equilibrium in the world and with the earth, that every time somebody loses a pound, somebody else gains a pound.
Makes sense.
I'm pretty sure that I am the absorbing one. So just throwing that out there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about what's going to happen during this recording. Then
I got it there. I used to do stand-up comedy many moons ago, and I actually had an entire bit around that was rather funny and rather good. That was just that was the intro of it, which is not as funny as the entire rest of the bit. So anyway, what are we doing?
A podcast.
Oh my gosh! Oh my word! Hey, so Brent. Full disclosure: Brent's ADHD today is high. It is running in the red. So my apologies ahead of time if I get distracted or whatever. We're recording a podcast, and have I said this yet? No, we're recording a podcast, and you guys are watching the behind the scenes. This is how it happens: is weird random stuff comes in. And that's why we edit stuff later. Although Jeff and I really do our best to not have to edit the audio podcast that much later anyway.
Yeah. That's not been the case the last couple of weeks. Just
have we had a lot of editing?
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Well, some of it is, we've had interruptions. We've had some technical stuff. And, but the last couple of weeks, I have earned my dime.
Okay. Well, let's try to get this one in a good recording, because I don't want you working that hard, Jeff.
Oh, thank you.
I really don't. But you guys get the behind the scenes. So this is where all the mistakes, rabbit trails, outtakes, the outtakes hopefully are the funniest part of the entire thing. And we're just going to kind of hang out together for a while as we discuss the fall of Centauri Prime.
Can't imagine what's going to happen in this one.
Well, we made our predictions.
We did.
Let's find out if they're right. Jeff, hit that magic button.
They were basically the title of the episode.
Yeah. Hey, before you do that, like this video, share it with all your friends, and subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Please maintain spoiler free. We got 4 episodes after this one.
I don't know, 4
episodes after this one. Oh man, let's go.
At least I should have fostered just once.
Humans form communities.
And from that diversity comes a strength.
Now get the hell out of our galaxy!
The year is 2024.
The name of the podcast, Babylon 5.
For the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
Yes, that's right. Jeff and I are 2 veteran Star Trek podcasters who have decided to watch this show 30 years too late. And we're applying that analytical lens we've gained as Star Trek podcasters right here to Babylon 5, where we're searching out the meanings, the messages, mirrors to society, the hope for a better future. But we're trying to figure out also how Babylon 5 is delivering that message in its own unique way.
Those unique Babylon 5 messages. Not Star Trek messages, because this is not a Star Trek podcast. And to keep us on task, to keep us focused on Babylon 5, we play the Rule of 3. This is a game that limits us to no more than 3 references to Star Trek per episode.
That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
And Jeff, if we make one of those references, the folks out there are going to hear
their favorite sound.
Come on, Jeff. When I do this,
just hit the button, right?
Yeah.
Like, no funny business, dude.
You know what's actually really funny is me doing this is a Star Trek reference.
It is, isn't it?
This is a Star Trek reference to get the button.
I think it only counts for audio ones. So
yeah, I don't. I'm curious. We said right before we came on, we're going to try to limit the amount of editing you're going to do.
Here we go.
That entire thing only lands if you're watching the YouTube version of this show. Because if you're listening to that on audio, like you're just listening to the podcast app later, you're going, what the heck is Brent doing?
Where's
I don't
the skip
understand.
Button? Get to the stuff, guys.
What
Just
was
get
he
to
doing?
The stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I don't like hearing that noise, so please stop doing it.
Doesn't count. I'm just going to hit it because it's fun.
Right. Well, listen, we do that because we are trying to keep those references from slipping in, and we only get 3 for the entire show. That's between the 2 of us. That's not each like it used to be.
Right.
Now, along with that game, there is another game we like to play at the end of the show where we make a prediction about what next week's episode is going to be about based on title alone. Jeff, you know what I wonder?
What's that?
If we were to go back through the entire show, we're not going to do this, and actually like keep track of the predictions and like how close we were, like score the percentage. I wonder where we would be. My guess is we're actually probably way more even than we might think.
I'm willing to bet that in Red Sector, which is in our Discord, which you can access through our Patreon, patreon.com/Babylon5 first, number 5, the word first. I'm willing to bet someone has done this already and not shared it with us, because we have, counting this, 5 more episodes. So they're probably keeping that. But you know what? If they haven't, I just said it, and I am positive that there is someone out in the community who is now diving through and doing that. If you do it, share it with us. We'll make sure the world sees it, and you get all the credit. 'Cause I wanna
God
know.
bless you in your endeavors.
For real.
'cause- oh, wow.
And while you're at it, check the YouTube and the audio just to be sure. That helps the download numbers and stuff. Also, we just want to, we want an accurate accounting.
Right. So we play that game, but there's a third game we like to play in the show because we like games. And that game happens right now. And we call that game
Time to Pay the Piper.
And this is the part where we look back at our prediction from last week to see how close we were. So, Jeff, what did you say this episode, The Fall of Centauri Prime, was going to be about?
I said the Narn and the Drazzy.
Drazzy? The Drazzy, boy. Come on.
Fairly enough, Kentucky, too. Look at that.
The Drazzy. Hey, just for the record, if you say it that way, Drazzy has 2 A's in it.
Oh, okay.
It's Drazzy.
Good. Drazzy.
Yeah. 2 A's.
The Narn and the Drazzy are going to be blasting Centauri Prime. Londo's going to be named Emperor, and he will order a full assault on the Alliance.
Jeff, you said 3 pieces there. You got 2 of them correct and 1 of them wrong. So I'm going to give you 66% on this one.
I love your math. What did you guess?
Well, I said that Centauri Prime was going to be attacked. And that this would be like an active, like pew 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 type episode where the Drazzy, the Brakiri, and the Nerns land on Centauri Prime and take over the planet, but they're going to be fighting amongst themselves to see who actually gets control of the planet. And now that Sheridan knows that the Centauri actually were not responsible for the shipping lane attacks, he's got to come to their rescue and try to restore the Interstellar Alliance.
Yeah, not a lot of that actually happened in this one.
Centauri Prime was attacked?
We got Centauri Prime attacked. We got Sheridan
No.
Going onto the planet. He went onto the planet. Sheridan went onto the planet.
He did. That is true.
See, we got a little bit of that, but that's about it. I'm going to give this one I like the thirds piece, so 33.
Wow, I was thinking like 15, but hey.
Yeah, I was thinking more like...
You grade me, so...
I was thinking more like 0.03, but I'll call it a 0.33. I'm feeling generous. It's just math. I don't do math, so it's all good. But if you're confused at all about what we're talking about, because you haven't watched this episode like ever, which would be weird, but that's cool if you're here listening to us, or if it's been a long time since you've watched it. Brent, can you tell us about the fall of Centauri Prime?
Fire rains down on Centauri Prime. The Narn, the Drazzy, and the Brakiri are pummeling those dirty, rotten, no-good Centauri back to the Stone Age. Down on the planet, Londo and G'Kar are getting rocked. Londo has to see the Regent. He finds him, and the Regent notes that this attack is beginning to move away from the capital, so they, meaning the survivors, should be safe for the time being. Which is fine because the Regent needs to make some introductions. Londo, meet Drahk. Drahk, meet Londo. We get a much-needed info dump saying that the Drahk were the allies of the Shadows. When their home, Zahadum, exploded, they had nowhere to go. But then they remembered the Centauri, and they remembered Londo. And they remembered Londo blowing up an entire island full of their Shadow Masters. And they have come as the Shadow of Shadows to fulfill their master's work. They've planted similar bombs all over the planet. And unless Londo does exactly what they want, they're going to do to the Centauri what Londo did to them. And what do they want Londo to do? Well, first, they want him to get his little eyeball friend, his keeper. And then they want him to suit up and become the puppet emperor. And then they want him to officially withdraw Centauri Prime from the Alliance, declare that they will bear their burdens alone, cutting them off from the galactic community. And they will also require him to declare Sheridan himself as persona non grata on Centauri Prime. But here's the catch. All of this is really just the public face of it all. The Drahk and the Keepers don't really care what Londo does in private or why he does it, just so long as he does what they want him to do. Which admittedly causes a couple of confusing scenes when Londo has to put on an act where he's super bossy and really, really mean to Sheridan. But also, it gives us a great scene in which Londo... But also, It gives us a great scene in which Londo has to beg the Drakh not to kill Delenn and Lanier, who are still stuck on a white star. And later, he actually gives safe passage to Sheridan, Delenn, and G'Kar to get off planet. And speaking of G'Kar, before Londo gets his keeper, he and G'Kar have a rather touching heart-to-heart, a goodbye conversation. Londo releases G'Kar from being his personal bodyguard, and he notes that G'Kar may hear about Londo doing strange things in the future as an emperor. Doesn't really expound on why, because G'Kar interrupts him. But also, Londo laments the ironic change in his fortune. Now that he has so much power, he has no choices anymore. And G'Kar ultimately forgives Londo. So with all of that, Sheridan, Delenn, G'Kar, and Vir depart Centauri Prime for Babylon 5. Londo does a solo walk to his new palace. And back on Babylon 5, Sheridan is taking a look at the shadow devices that Franklin and Lita brought back from the last episode. Garibaldi wonders if there might actually be some of that cool tech left on the Vorlon homeworld that they could use. But Lita says that no human's going to be allowed to set foot on that planet for about 1,000,000 years. It seems that things have somewhat returned to normal on Babylon 5, but Delenn wonders as the episode closes, what has been lost in the process? Jeff, what'd you think of this episode, The Fall of Centauri Prime?
Dude, this episode was such a downer. And I say that in the kindest, most praising, amazing way. Like, this episode was a bummer, and it was sad, and it was perfect. Like, just so good. Londo at the center of the universe. Again, here he is, and we get a great episode out of it. I still have questions about the Drahk. I have such a better understanding, but there's some things that just don't quite add up for me with them a little bit, but nothing big. I just want to know more about him, really, and understand, like, why are they allied with the Shadows, or were they, and how long has that alliance gone on, and what really is their plan? What work are they going to be doing? Stuff like that. But like, what was the episode that we saw the Drahk the first? Lines of Communication?
With the one where we saw them for the first time, I'm not
yeah.
sure, but
I
I remember the episode. I just couldn't tell you the title of it off the top of my head.
So, like, he says Drahk, and I'm just like, this isn't the, I mean, so either, and I'm not clear on this, either Drahk is just this big term for the allies and minions of the Shadows, or they did that Drahk in Lines of, I mean, I think it's Lines of Communication, but they did that guy, and they're like, oh no, never again. This was awful and dumb, and we're not going to, either way, I'm totally good with the choice. Like, this was good. But Londo, the flashbacks, there were a lot of flashbacks in this episode, and Babylon 5 uses flashbacks pretty sparingly. And generally when it uses them, it's pretty powerful. But to me, this, like, the flashbacks told the story that you and I have been talking about, you know, for seasons now, you know, how he was so full of life. We got the Parliament of Dreams scene with him. We got Born to the Purple stuff with him. And then here he is. But the resolution to this whole thing, right, when Sheridan lays it all out and demands the reparations and stuff, and we'll talk about this more, but I just get really strong Treaty of Versailles vibes from this whole thing. And if you're not a student of history, gosh, almost like more than 100-year-old history at this point, which is pretty wild. But yeah, things didn't go well because of that treaty. Some stuff happened as a result of it. So pretty sure that was a pretty intentional message. But one piece that I want to share here, and then we can talk about more if we want, but that final scene, like the way the episode closed out, Londo sitting on the throne in the dark alone. You, Brent, have shared some of your mental health journey and your experience with depression here on the podcast. And you've made a serious and a real impact on a lot of people. People have reached out. You've inspired people to address their mental health. I am one of those people. And I have not really shared a lot of my experience. There was a period of time where I wasn't even very active on our Discord or with our Patreon. community. But about a year ago, I was diagnosed with depression, and it's still a very real thing in my life as it is. And having worked with this and lived with it for over a year now, I don't think I ever felt so seen and understood as I did in that scene. Right? Emperor Londo Mollari II on the throne, alone and in the dark. Like that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you?
I in no way, I just want to address that if I may. One, thank you so much for sharing that piece. I've been privy to a lot of that just behind the scenes, because of the nature of our relationship. And I've never wanted to tell your story for you, you know. So thank you for sharing that. And anybody out there who thinks they might be struggling or just has any questions, we certainly encourage you to reach out. And I will just say for myself one more time, I'm not going to speak for Jeff. For me, it took needing a stranger. I needed somebody who didn't know me, somebody who didn't live in my town that I could talk to. And if I can be that stranger for you, if that's what you need, please feel free to reach out. My DMs are open. The show's DMs are open. Shoot an email, something. Would love to just, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what happened with me and what my story is.
I'm happy to be there as well. I've seen the impact that you've made on other people, and I'm still early in my journey, and I'm not comfortable with a lot of stuff, and I'm not ready to share my whole story, but I'm always happy to be an ear and to share what I am comfortable with, and just to connect makes a big difference. So we're both here for you.
That said, I didn't connect that scene to it at all. And now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it feels like to me as well. Is you're on this throne, like you have all this stuff going on, and you're just there by yourself, and it sucks.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I'm gonna dive in just a little. This is a real pivot from the format, but I mean, I really it was. Gosh, we were middle of season 3, I think, in this journey for stuff, and it was great. Like we were successful. Our community was awesome.
Yep.
We were watching amazing episodes, except for one, but really amazing. Like everything was really good. And I remember having a moment, we got done recording, where it was awesome. Like I felt so good about our episode, but the minute I hit leave studio, with what we do in our tool here, like everything just flushed out of me, and I was just like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
And just to be like, we were at such a peak in our relationship and in this community's relationship, and I felt like I didn't exist in that whole thing. And that's a thing I still like. It's still there. It's still a present thing for me, but it was at its peak then. It is that like and the message, I'm jumping ahead. We'll get to your thoughts. I apologize, but we'll talk about it more. But the whole thing of like, I have all the power in the world and no options, no choices. And it's like, God, this episode was an episode that was pointed directly at a lot of us, I think. Okay. Your turn. Sorry.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear you dive into that, because it's just not where I was with this episode. And I really want to hear where you were with this episode and dive into that a little bit more. Anyway, where was I? I found this to be a very thought-provoking episode. I found it a very interesting, here's my favorite word for the show, Jeff, juxtaposition, viewing Londo from the first few seasons that we got in those little flashback sequences to viewing Londo now. Just when you think he's getting it all together, you know, he's been on this amazing journey, awful journey, awful journey nobody should ever go on, but he's been on this journey, and he's coming on the other side of it now. The world seems to be his oyster. You know, it's all going to come, and he realizes, kind of like what he said in the first, he's like, I don't really want all of this, you know. And he doesn't want to do the emperor thing. You can definitely tell that, but he's going to go, and now this is the bed he's made, and this is the bed he has to lie in. And just as he's getting it all together, he now has to walk willingly to the slaughter. Now, I am not willing to call this a Messiah Christ walk type of deal for Londo, because this is the mess he made. And like I said, he now has to deal with it. I did think that it was incredibly nice seeing G'Kar say the words, "I forgive you." You know, my people can't. We're never going to forgive your people. That cannot happen. But as for me and you, I forgive you. And I remembered back when Delenn had to go apologize to G'Kar and said, "We knew and we didn't do anything to stop it." And she asked, "Will you forgive me?" And he said, "Not yet." I forget what his exact words are. He's like, that day will come. Today is not that day, though. He needed time to process it. And to see G'Kar as a character be able to process it, not just for Delenn, but for Londo, the perpetrator of this whole thing. I thought it was um I thought it was phenomenal. Um I think I was right in my prediction though, Jeff. I know you didn't score me on this one, but it was going to be a lot of pew 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 pew. And there was a lot of pew 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 pew. And I'm not saying stinky pew. I'm just, shooting guns. Except it was all talking. This episode was not action oriented. This episode was all talk, and it was a lot of but everything that they were talking was like firing weapons. You know what I mean? Like everything was so pointed in this episode
Yeah.
that it was amazing. So um Jeff, I have no idea where to begin with you on this one in this episode. Where do you want to go first? There's obviously there's the Londo and G'Kar stuff. There's Londo and the Regent, the Drahk, Londo in his opening speech as Emperor, Londo and Sheridan there at
That's
the
a
end.
lot.
So there's quite a bit. So where do you want to go?
Well, I want to respond to one thing in your initial piece, and then I think let's talk about some of the lighter stuff first, and go from there. But I think that you talked about Londo walking to his inauguration alone and not ready to assign like a Christ or Messiah type thing. It made me think of Cersei and the High Sparrow, the Faith Militant in Game of Thrones. Yep.
You just didn't have the lady with the bell walking behind her going, "Shame."
Right?
Shame.
The lady who ended up in Ted Lasso, by the way.
Yes, she did.
Which is super cool. But yeah, like it really rang of that for me. Like she wasn't screaming shame, but he was oozing it, like he knows exactly where he is, why he's there, and he's going to play the part. Oh, heavy stuff.
And it's so weird. Like he's doing this to say, like, this is still who Londo is. Okay, we're here. Wait, I think we now have to talk about it. Londo has 1,000. What has Londo always been for? In spite of everything else, Londo has always been for his people, saving his people, propping his people up. Right? He has now put his people into a predicament where their lives are on the line. Every single one of them, their lives are on the line. And in order to save them, he has to do all of the. I mean, Jeff, this is where we need a superhero. We need Jack Bauer. We need somebody to come in and save Londo, because he's doing something that he doesn't really want to be. Oh, wasn't this like a Fast and the Furious movie?
Probably.
I think it was, where the hero has to go do something. He has to pretend to be a bad guy in order to save people, and they don't understand why he's doing it, but that's why they're doing it. So he has to go do all this to save the Centauri so they're not just ultimately blown up.
Yeah.
And hopefully Sheridan and some other people are going to get a clue one day and be able to come and free them from this deal. And we saw that in War Without End, where Londo's whole cry to Sheridan was, "Save my people."
Yep.
Get them out of this. Because the Drahk, over 17 years, I think it was 17, 18 years, they never allowed the country to be rebuilt. Think about it. They're getting bombed today.
Yeah.
Right? That country is still jacked up almost 20 years down the road.
Still fires burning.
Exactly. Like, if they haven't allowed the country to recover or begin to recover, and I'm not saying 15 years is enough time to do it all for all the damage that happened, but I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think it's hard because the Sheridan thing really comes to mind, where he was there, he saw this, but also he knew it was far in the future.
Yeah.
He can't know this is the thing that leads to that. But there's still just this whole thing of like, he should at least be asking some questions, or something.
Yeah.
Something
Something about this seems familiar. Like he should be. Look.
you know, when we talk about Londo having to, you know, be the hero but become the villain, I'm on Game of Thrones references right now, but it makes me think of early Game of Thrones and Jon Snow and that wildling girl, where like he had to build the distance and make them, you know, he had to go back and, you know, be a Night's Watchman and all that stuff. And so he's like, I love you so much, but I'm going to make you want to kill me because I have to save you.
Yeah.
And then she died anyway.
Yeah. And then they got married in real life.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. That's a fun, I like that.
Speaking of fun, though, if we said we want to go light first, let's go light. Fun note: did you see who played the Drahk?
No, I didn't actually notice.
I'm gonna see if you know who this person is. Wayne Alexander.
Lorien Talon, Sebastian, like the voice of all the cool. Really? You know what? There's the scene where we're mixing stuff up like crazy here. But there's the scene where Londo's like, "Oh my gosh, you can't kill Delenn." And Drahk doesn't say anything. He just kind of goes, "That's a total Wayne Alexander move."
Yeah.
Good. I'd say
all right, here's my question, and I want to know this. I want to know this from the fans out there. It's time to ask this question. Is Wayne Alexander the Jeffrey Combs of Babylon 5?
It's a valid question.
And if you understand that reference, we can be best friends.
Right. Because it is every character he plays is a pivotal character.
And so different from every other character he's done.
Yeah.
I just want to note, you just said that Sebastian and Comes the Inquisitor is pivotal. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. Most of the characters he plays are pivotal. I know people love the episode. I still don't.
Okay, so what was your reaction when he opens up his chest and this thing starts peeling off of his chest? Comes out and then drops to the floor and tentacles come out and shoots up the side of Londo.
I have so many questions. So that whole abduction thing wasn't putting the keeper inside of him.
Yeah.
It was,
what was
something
that whole
else.
Thing?
Yeah.
What was that whole thing? I have no idea what that was about.
Like, was it putting something in him to like, here's the keeper's food store, or make his bed for him inside? Like, what was all that?
Was it the part that he attaches to from the outside? Like, because what it looked like they were dropping into his mouth was a bug.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'm going to burn a second one. Can I do it? From Wrath of Khan, it looked like that little thing that went up into Chekhov's ear.
The SETI eel.
Yeah, it looked like that, only way bigger. They were dropping into his mouth.
But yeah, so dude's got his like chest bared, and I'm literally like, is he gonna like? Are we gonna get some breastfeeding? Go like, what is happening? And then he starts ripping the thing off.
Yeah, just rips the thing off.
I had no idea until I kind of got it, and you could almost see on the prop there was this little eye.
Yep.
Kind of, and then I'm like, there's the thing. What? And then immediately I'm like, what?
So is the keeper a part of the Drahk? And the keepers are actually Drahk? Like they're like, is this an eyeball like G'Kar's eyeball that like you can just pop out and go over there and see? And while they call it a keeper, it's actually still part of the Drahk? Or do the Drahk like is it like a symbiotic relationship between them and the Drahk? Like the Drahk are the incubators of these things, and he pulls them off. Is it like how many of those eyeballs does he have on his chest there?
I was looking for that. Like, are there other plates on him that look like that? I think it's literally that. It's an extension of. So now that Drahk is in and on, which means you just kill the dude. We'll get there, I'm sure, at some point, how to get rid of him. But
well, because then it also does. It does. Now this is the trope. This is the sci-fi trope. Whenever you put a symbiote of something that once you separate them, and this is how the Regent died. Like, you're dead as soon as you separate them.
But we did see way back with Captain Jack that you have to completely separate it for them to die, because he cut it and it grew back. Captain Jack on Mars?
I remember Captain Jack.
So he had to blow himself up to kill himself. He blew up that train car.
Because he had a keeper?
Yeah, that was the whole point with him.
I'm so vague on that.
All that Mars
How long ago was that?
That's a full season ago.
Okay.
More than a full season ago.
I 100% remember Captain Jack. I remember him blowing himself up. I remember him not being what he was supposed to be. I just don't remember that.
So there was that
detail.
That number one lady, right?
Yeah,
And like he kept trying to get, I gotta go talk to number one. I gotta talk to number one.
Yeah.
And he was sweating and being weird and giving hints to Franklin about where his daughter was, including the address, which was a huge mistake to give Franklin that kind of information. But but then they uncovered.
You don't give that man a break, dude.
I do but he didn't know. Captain Jack didn't know. But in hindsight, I'm sure there's a comic book series that you have to be a certain age or older to buy.
Since Franklin went on Walkabout, Franklin's been an upstanding dude.
He has been, totally. But yeah, Captain Jack, there was the whole point of Captain Jack was he had a keeper on him. Franklin was able to see what it was, get some samples, do some stuff, but it grew, like he cut part of it or something like that. He tried, but it just grew back. And it was like, there's no way away from this keeper outside of just blowing yourself up.
Yeah. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. So, okay, anyway.
You're like, all that Mars, number one, resistance, whatever stuff, out, gone.
Well, because, okay, but ultimately what happened out of it?
Not much. Well, here's what happened. Lita got to go on to Mars after they took over some bases and activate the Teepsicles.
Yep. It was a part of the larger war. It wasn't, God, people are firing up their keyboards. How dare you? That was so important. Without that. Okay, guys, come on.
Yeah, it was super important. I'm sure it was. Just like how important the telepaths were in the Shadow War.
Here's my word. It's still our first watch.
I'm sure we're going to see so much more. But yeah, so pretty wild. And I think I've got some different understandings. We talked about it, I think, a little bit last week, but the Keeper and like what it does and how it works. And so it sounds like it's not necessarily controlling. It's more of like it feeds information and can tattle if things go wrong. And the tattling's a big deal because they planted fusion bombs throughout the entire planet.
Dude, that is, I mean, they come back and they're like, we remembered you. We liked you, and we're going to now use you. Did that
and inspired us.
Yeah, and we're gonna do to you what you did to our guys. And like, I just remember feeling for Londo in that moment and that whole deal. Like they've got him. Like Londo cannot win here. He is 1,000% trapped. There is no way out for him unless he just says, you know what, better to. If you blow everybody up, you blow everybody up, but we're not going to do this. Like he just marks that ground and lets them do it. Then that's not good. I mean, if you're okay, let me ask you this question. If you're Londo and you're in that position, do you just say, no, we're not going to go through this? Or do you capitulate and go along with it just to try to buy yourself more time to see if you can't get out of the situation? What do you do?
It's an impossible question.
Because you're in an impossible situation. Like you're not getting out of this situation.
It's a total, it's a Lady Morella thing, right? When Major Barrett came on and he's like, well, I had no choice. And she's like, that's something that people who've already made their decision say to justify their decision.
Jeff. Okay. Lady Morella gave Londo 3 things. What were they? Three things for his redemption.
You must save the eye that does not see. You must.
Is that
not, Oh, maybe. It might be the little keeper guy.
Probably not.
You must not kill the one who is already dead.
Who is that?
I think we decided that was Sheridan in A War Without End.
Okay.
Because he was going to kill him, but he didn't kill him, so he let him go back, which let the stuff happen.
Yep.
And the one that I think we just witnessed.
Okay.
You must surrender yourself to your greatest fear, knowing that it will destroy you. And I feel like that's what just happened.
And don't do what with the eye that doesn't see? What now?
Don't kill the eye that does not see.
No.
Or do not destroy the eye that does not see.
Do not destroy the eye that does not see.
I closed my document that I wrote on. Sorry.
the keeper sees. So I don't think it could be that.
Oh, yeah, I will pull it up again here. Yeah, you must save the eye that does not see.
Save the eye that does not see. I think that's got to be G'Kar, right?
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which happened beautifully in Very Long Night of Londo Mollari and right here. Real forgiveness between the two of them.
Right. So Londo, is he living out his redemption?
I think he is. He's given himself up.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrificing himself for the greater. Because you're right. He could say, you know what, go fly a kite, Drahk. And he literally was holding the detonator button.
Yeah.
He could have blown the whole planet up at that point. Problem solved. Drahk are gone. The Centauri are gone. There's peace throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
But Londo's number one, you said earlier, his number one is the Centauri people.
Yeah. And I mean, it's his people. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Rightly so. Hopefully we can make them, hopefully Vir will make them a better people.
Yeah.
In his emperorship.
Poor Vir. Vir got beat up a little bit in this one.
But here's the thing. So what happens after Londo dies? The Drahk are still around? Do they just go away because Londo's dead now? Like,
I don't think so. And this is the question, because what we know in War Without End is that Londo's going to die at G'Kar's hand, as G'Kar will die at Londo's hand.
Right.
Vir will emerge from the curtains and take the crown or the crest or the whatever. Is Vir going to get installed with a keeper? Like, is this just what happens now
for the Centauri from now on? I think Vir has to be the redeeming emperor for the Centauri folk. I think. I mean, clearly we're not going to get Vir's story, and maybe that's one of the movies. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool if that was one of the movies.
But I think that, one of the things that confuses me with the Drahk is they talked about two things. One, well, they talked about a lot of things, but two things here. One was that Centauri Prime is the perfect place for them to continue their work.
Yeah.
What is that work and how long does it last?
No, so I think very clear that their work is sowing discord among the galaxy and keeping wars fighting. And Centauri is the best way to make that happen. Keep the Centauri fighting people, keep them from gelling the galactic universe together. Have them continue to sow discord among the galaxies.
Yeah,
right.
That makes sense. I can see that.
I think that's I like what all did the Drahk make Londo do over the course of his emperorship of, let's just say 17 years.
Well, what we know in his speech,
or maybe 15, because the War Without End was 2 years ago, so let's just call it 15.
But we know from his Severed Dreams style speech where he's just holographically projected into the night sky, dude. That was a scene.
Yeah.
But what we know is he's declaring them isolationist.
Yeah.
But in doing that, completely attacking the Alliance and Sheridan specifically.
Yeah.
Laid it right at his feet.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I can see
that. Londo went full Apophis in that. You don't know what that means yet.
I don't, but it sounds exactly.
Sounds amazing.
But the other thing they said was that they're looking for a home world. And that's the same thing that Drahk back in lines of communication said. We're just looking for a home world. We're looking, our place got blowed up. So we're looking
That's what
for
the telepaths are looking for. They're just looking for a home world.
You know what struck me with that?
Yeah.
Apparently the Drahk were used as weapons. They were servants of the shadows.
Yeah.
We've been told repeatedly in this season, narratively, even though we never actually saw it, that the telepaths were actually used as weapons by the Vorlons. Now, after everything's done, they're kind of left floating and looking for their own homeworlds and identities. I love that identity piece where, Londo's, who are you? And he's like, who are we? We are the shadows of shadows.
Yeah.
Like they don't even know who they are right now.
Yeah. They're just there to do the work of their former masters,
blindly, not knowing if they still need to do it or not, but it's all they know.
Yeah. So this whole thing is all about getting revenge on Londo.
Yep. Pretty much Londo. I was going to say the Centauri, but it's really Londo.
Yeah. And it's his price to pay. And so I have the question, can you with Londo and his redemption. Okay, this has been the theme of like this show for seasons now, and this episode, like there's the Very Long Night of Londo Mollari, the Fall of Centauri Prime. These are the two episodes that this really comes into full relief. I think it asks the question, can Londo be redeemed and still have to pay the consequences of his actions? And I think that's exactly what we're seeing is Londo is like he can be forgiven. You can be forgiven. You still have to face the consequences. There's still fallout. Like I'm not going to hold you responsible. Like I'm not going to keep this wall built up between us because of unforgiveness. G'Kar says, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still made the bed. You still got to lay in it. Like that's
you did it.
You know, you got to go through those pieces. I think that's an interesting.
Well, it's the thing, piece. And it's the thing I think is misunderstood. We've talked about forgiveness quite a bit on this show.
Yeah.
But I think there's a misunderstanding that forgiveness means that you're accepting the behavior or what happened. But what it really means is you're just not giving it negative energy anymore. And so like in my head, there's the version of this that I would love to see. We've got 4 episodes left, and I would love in 2 of those 4 episodes just for someone, probably Delenn, because she's the one who hugged Londo on his way out, but someone just to be like, I sure hope things are going okay for him. Like, keep him in the conversation and talk about him, because they don't have ill will towards him. He is rightly, justice is being served, right? Like he's facing the consequences for, maybe it's not justice, but consequences are being acted out for what he did, but they're not giving it negative energy. They can still care about him.
Mm-hmm.
They can still want to connect and help. Sheridan wanted to, at the end when he's like,
even at the end, after you're going to make reparations, you're going to do this, and Sheridan is the bad guy. Hey, dude. Okay. We're cool. But I got to get you off here because bad stuff's going to happen if I don't.
Yep. Yeah. That's the magic of forgiveness there.
Yeah. And they seem like Sheridan and Delenn, those guys, like they seem to understand that about Londo.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could have a normal conversation. Like, yeah, that was just the public face I had to put on. Let's have this real conversation here.
Yeah, like they should have done instead of the big courtroom farce they put together.
They should have done for Londo. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Sheridan comes in and he's begging Londo with a keeper to go save Delenn. And Londo wants to do like Londo himself wants to go do it. And I love Londo just turns into the Godfather at that point. All right, I'll do it, but understand, I may come asking you for a favor one day. Yeah.
Sheridan's like, whatever.
Right.
President of the Interstellar Alliance, dude. What are you gonna do? We've beat you twice now. So
right. There was always this piece though with Londo and this whole deal. Is it him acting or is it the eyeball talking? So let me ask you this. Did we ever see the eyeball assert control over Londo and basically shunt Londo to the back of his personality and the eyeball was there speaking? Or was it always Londo is in full cognitive control, but he has to put on this mask and say these things in public face and just because he's being watched?
It's a great question, and I think about how the Regent behaved, on that, because I think the answer is both.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no obvious like, oh, now I am automaton being controlled. Mm-hmm. It's all very natural and everything still makes sense. But the Regent, who was, losing his mind because he'd been watching this for so long, would try to find little ways,
Mm-hmm.
You gave the order after a fashion, right? Like, I'm not going to say no because my dude's here and he'll do something to me, or makes it neurally blocks me from doing the thing. But I can play with language. The way I think of it is the keeper basically laid out the game plan for him and said, go say it, or I'll keep
I would think it's different. I think the Drahk laid out the game plan And the keeper literally is just, I'm watching you to make sure you like Londo had to do it because the keeper's there watching. Like
the thing that makes me wonder about that though is what we see of him in War Without End. You know, he's drunk and he's been drunk a lot and he's doing anything he can. At that point, you're happy to die. He begs. He gets drunk so the keeper goes away so that he can have G'Kar kill him.
mm-hmm.
If it's bad things are going to happen to you if you don't do what you're told, you have like this 4-second window or whatever before the bad things happen. You can be like, I got an alien on my neck. It's making me do everything. Please check it when I die. Oh God. And then you can sacrifice yourself. Londo never did that. The Regent never did that. The Regent wanted to die. Londo wanted to die. I think if it's that thing where they can punish them in some way, they would just say it and let themselves die.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, this is one of those things that is, there's a keeper, it's on Londo, and there's a Drahk somewhere out there, and so Londo has to do the Drahk things. Stop asking questions. This is how it works. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And here's what we see. We, like, in so many ways, and I thought it was perfect with the way they did the flashback pieces. We saw first season Londo.
Yeah.
We saw remember Londo, I forgot how to dance. Londo in bed with the deer going, that's old. That's garbage. I would give all of that up just to spend here with you. That was the same sentiment of Londo that we had here in this. Like this is a character who's come full circle.
Yeah.
The idea underneath, Londo's a really good person.
Yep.
Underneath all the hair, there's is his hair bigger?
Off and on. There was one of the episodes we watched recently. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, but I think it's the biggest it's ever been. Yeah. And like when he was talking, it was
started
like flapping.
Yeah. I saw that too. But I mean, my God, I just, I've said before, I'll say it again. If I were to be cast in the reboot, while I think I would thoroughly enjoy doing the character of Vir, Londo is the character I want to play. He is by far to me the most interesting character in Babylon 5 for the arc that he goes on. But I mean, where he is as a character, where we meet him in his old age to where he winds up to, here's Londo standing there in the room, shirt off or thing pulled aside, and he's watching this dude peel this thing away from and he knows what's like, he's just watching it, and he's standing there like a man, taking it, for the sake of his people, knowing this is what he's got to do, and he has to walk this line between satisfying the Drahk, but not like remember what they said Londo, what they say about Londo like 2 episodes ago. Londo's the only one who's going to be able to get us out of this or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? Like, I forget what the exact phrase was, but it was basically, if you put any other Centauri in here, this whole thing's going to the whole world's going to blow up.
Well,
look what happened when the Regent was there.
Yeah.
We got into another war. We're going to put Londo in. He's going to have to walk this line, and he's going to be in this place of, he's got to satisfy the Drahk, but he's also working to keep people safe. Like, he's got to do this thing, and Londo's actually the best person to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
you put a Rifa in there, the defense minister guy in there, a Cartagia in there, and not only are the Drahk going to do stuff, but like they're going to convince them to go and like, no, we don't want to sow discord. We're going to go dominate. We're going
to literally blow everybody up.
Yeah.
We're going to drop whatever thermonuclear devices we have, and gone. All of you.
Yeah. Asteroids for all. Here we go.
But what's the thing that chunks asteroids at people?
Yeah, the mass drivers.
Yeah, those things. Right.
But it was interesting because, like, we were going earlier. He's like, dude, we got to save Delenn, and he gives that like, well, too bad. But then something obviously happened because they show up and save Delenn.
Well, not just Delenn, but Lanier, who, I think I noted last week. It's amazing that they were the 2 who survived on them.
Well, and also for a dude who broke his leg in 2 places, Dude, that Analoshock meditation must be some incredible stuff because I would be a whimpering blob of tears and whimpering and just wussy if I'd broken my leg in 2 places and was left there. And he's just like, hey, I'm still just linear.
And the worst thing happens to him.
The worst.
They're about to die. And I mean, we've seen this how many times on TV and in so many places. I love you.
And then Han Solo jumps out and says, I know.
I know. And then they don't die. And I mean, this happened with Bester, didn't it?
Yes.
Just a couple episodes
ago. This took me right back to Bester and Nikki from 90210 when he's just like, it's cool. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
And Delenn, like he says, I love you. She says, I know. They get saved. And they're like, okay, I didn't hear what you said. And then she's still sitting there like, hey, listen, Linear buddy, it's okay. It's just, and I'm like, Delenn cannot stop friend zoning Lanier. She can't stop doing it.
It's like, here's what you do. You say, hey, I didn't hear what you said. And he goes, oh, it wasn't important. And you're done. You stop talking. But she just kept going. And I could just watch Lanier's soul just get smaller and smaller. And he's just like, why? Stop beating, heart. Just stop beating.
Yeah.
Like it's cruel. It was cruel of her to do that.
But she had no idea. She thought she was helping.
Totally Ralph Wiggum. I'm helping. You're apple pedaling backwards is what you're doing. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh my word.
Yeah, that was rough. I liked the idea though when they were kind of making conversation and trying to find some hope. I liked where she's like, maybe we'll find a 1,000,000-year-old jump gate that takes us somewhere. I'm like, that's a cool idea. I don't know if that's even possible.
If you're just going out there and like, hey, who knows? Maybe something will happen. Let's see.
Let's find out.
In regards to this whole thing, the whole Delenn thing is the impetus of this. But I'm thinking back to Sheridan at the beginning of the episode, where Garibaldi calls him, and he's like, "Hey, just so you know, Delenn's ship is missing." Like, and I'm going, dude, he does not need to know in that moment.
Yeah.
That is Sheridan's trying to come out and stop these guys from bombarding everything else, right? And he's like, just so you know, no, you save that information, you tell somebody else, you make something happen. Sheridan does not need to be distracted by that in that moment.
Especially when he's like, hey, we got people searching. Like, we're looking through hyperspace. We're doing it. Like, he's doing anything he can do. So you let Sheridan ride in, be the dude on the white horse, save the day.
There's nothing he can do about it in that moment with where he is. Yeah. He needs to focus on what he's doing.
Exactly. Also, on Garibaldi, since you're here, dude seemed pretty okay to me. Like, he was Johnny on the spot for stuff. He wasn't missing meetings or miscommunicating stuff. Like, maybe is he just in a moment of sobriety? Is he just feeling good right now?
I mean, he just hasn't had enough to pass out yet.
Yeah, maybe.
So
I just thought it was like such a big story point, and then he's just there doing his job.
Did we ever actually see Garibaldi in this episode?
He was on communication. Yeah,
but he wasn't like in the rest of the episode. Like,
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. So you know what that is hey, we're paying him. Let's not pay another actor.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Or what it was, we've seen Garibaldi is pretty slick with a computer. Maybe he used Babylon 5's Chat GPT to be like, hey, when Sheridan calls, just put up a hologram of me and say these things.
Right.
Then everybody will think I'm good.
He Ferris Buellered it.
He did, right? Open the doors slowly and I'll just roll over. Question.
Yeah.
You mentioned in the recap, Lita was like, hey, we can't go to the Vorlon homeworld until we've earned our spot. It'll be about 1 million years. Hey, we watched 1 million years in the future.
That's
and we watched Mass Effect NPC. Is that New Earth? Is Vorlon's homeworld, is that going to be New Earth?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah. And the reason they can't go there is because it would, spoil the future.
Yeah.
Which would then spoil the past. And
it would all be bad.
So again, going back to Londo and G'Kar specifically, at the beginning of the episode when all the bombardment's happening, um, Londo, his first reaction is to go rescue G'Kar.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a big deal that Londo's first reaction is to go save G'Kar. As opposed to saving himself, checking on anyone in Centauri Prime, like
Well, I
checking
think
on like
you said Londo's the most complex character
yeah.
in Babylon 5.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just going to say it. Londo and G'Kar is the story of Babylon 5. Everything else is happening around Londo and G'Kar and their journey.
Londo and G'Kar in an elevator. Let's
right? I'm not going to sing it again. You can go back.
I'm
you
not
watch
either.
that in
Yeah,
Convictions
yeah.
or whatever that was.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so pointed. And later they have this conversation, and this is probably where everything's going to turn here. Londo says, "It's funny. When I started, I had no power, but all the choices. And now I have all the power I could ever want, but no choices." Phenomenal breakdown of where he is.
And I think it was a great callback to G'Kar of the 4th season, where he really questioned the price of power. And this is kind of that capstone on his ruminations on that back in the last season, and just beautifully said. But to dive into that more and to really talk about it, Brent, I think this is the point of the episode where we're going to boil this whole thing down. We're going to look at it, see what kind of messages are in here. Is there any hope for the future? Is it holding up a mirror to society? What kind of Babylon 5 message is there in this episode? And how did Babylon 5 deliver it in its own unique way? And you get to do that, my friend, by rating this on a scale of 0 to 5 white stars. Lay it on me. What do we got for the Fall of Centauri Prime?
So I don't think this is the point of the episode, but I do want to note this because I thought it was a neat little kind of lesson, I guess we could say. The Drahk cutting the Centauri off from the community of the Interstellar Alliance is not good for the Centauri to go out there and stand alone. But it's exactly what the Drahk want. Why? Because it keeps them easier to control. When you are separated away from community, when you are cut off from the whole, you are easier to control. I would like to remind my fellow countrymen of that when people try to put up walls and divide you, you are easier to control. We are stronger together than we are apart. This is not a political statement. This is a statement of life. That being said, this episode, everything about this episode revolves around Londo's story. We have started. I mean, I don't know that this is the conclusion of Londo's story, but it kind of feels like I think we know where Londo goes from here. We saw it in War Without End. Everything is now set up for this, right? So as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna say Londo's story. He's come full circle. This is his deal. The Centauri, I think, as a people, at least through Londo, in season 1, started at an old age, coming to a realization that the things you think are important really aren't that important. They're actually less than. But for some reason, they could never seem to get away from them. Londo could never seem to get away from the Republic being the great people that they once were. What do you want, Mr. Mollari? You know what I want? I want my people to rule the galaxy again. Right? They couldn't get away from it. And in the end, it will cost them their lives because of it. But deep down, who they really are when they're not worried about this power and grabbing at power, they're actually a really good people. They're a great people. When Londo says that line, when I was younger, I had no power, but I had all the choices. And now that I have all the power I could ever want, I have no choices. He's been backed into this situation. And I feel like in many ways, this is actually probably true. Like when you look at uh, kings and monarchs, I think of Prince Harry from over in England and the things that we've learned about that. And I have no idea how our British friends feel about him and the monarchy, um, and what's going on. But from his point of view, everything seems very trapped. Like you listen to his story and you go, why would anybody ever want to be this prince? You've got all this awesome stuff around you and you have zero control. Like you're the freaking prince and you can't tell people what to do. They're telling you what to do. You know what I mean? Um even stories with the president, like the president of the United States wants to go do something and the Secret Service goes, "No, you're not allowed to go." I remember a couple was it Bush or Obama? I want to say it was Obama was in an interview saying, "I'm not allowed to drive anymore." He missed driving and
I
he's not
remember
like he's
that.
just not allowed to do it anymore. You know, you're not allowed to go to places like you lose you gain this power, this whatever, but you lose freedom in doing so. Um there comes this spot and I think Londo is the perfect emulation. Emulation? Is that the right word? Maybe not. You guys can decide later.
Personification.
Personification, that's probably better. Uh, where there's two Londos. There's the Londo in private that knows right from wrong, that wants to be better. This is the Londo we saw in bed with Lady Adira. This is the Londo we saw in a private conversation with Vir talking about I forgot how to dance. This is the Londo we saw talking to Vir or talking to Delenn saying, I've got to get Vir out of here because I see there he's just too good of a person to be around all of this, and I got to get him out of here, and sends him off to Minbar as an ambassador. We see uh Londo having a private conversation with G'Kar in this episode. We see Londo having kicking back after the wedding and him and G'Kar having confetti on their heads, and they're just having a drink together, which should have been placed after the very long night of Londo Mollari, but whatever. Um, and then there's the public Londo, this mask of bravado and of self-importance. I think of Londo anytime he was in the council chambers speaking for Centauri. No, Captain. Ugh! Right? Um, I think of Londo when he's in the council chambers just a couple episodes ago, reading this order from the regent of we're gonna, and Londo's like, it's not his choice. He's literally just the communicator at that point, right? He's just the messenger. But he has to wear this mask, but he has to do it confidently because he's representing his people. The difference is before he chose to wear the mask. And now as emperor with the Drahk watching, he has to wear the mask. He no longer has that choice, even though that's not who he really is. Now, what does all this mean? Where does all this come down to? I have no idea other than to say, why would anybody ever want to be king? I'm thinking of the Coldplay song, Viva la Vida. Who would ever want to be king? Like, oh my gosh, be careful what you wish for. But understand that those guys don't have it as easy as we think we do, as great as we think they might. What does it mean for us? Jeff, I don't really know. I gotta be honest. I feel so bad for Londo. I feel 1,000% bad. You probably have some really great things to say here. So, Jeff, I'm actually going to ask you before I announce my judgment of White Stars, because this was a great episode.
Yeah.
This is an episode that makes you think. It makes you rethink life. It makes you rethink people. Listen, here we go. I'll give you this. In spite of Londo being trapped by the Drahk, receiving forgiveness from G'Kar made him just a little bit more free.
Yep.
There's a great message right there. Jeff, I'm going to give you a chance to stump for something before I pass judgment on the White Stars.
You just hit on the thing, and I think it's really powerful. We talked about forgiveness earlier, so I won't dive into that. But G'Kar says a thing. He says, I forgive you. My people can never forgive your people, but I forgive you.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's beautiful. It weighs a lot, but I also think it is fundamentally wrong. Because if G'Kar, one person, can forgive Londo, one person, other Narn can forgive other Centauri. One-on-one, person to person forgiveness can happen. And from there, the people will forgive the people. Right? Maybe the label Narn and the label Centauri don't officially issue an apology or a forgiveness or anything like that. But the people who connect individually, they can forgive each other. And so what was a powerful statement that felt intensely personal between these two, that was a call to action for every single one of us.
Yeah.
If you are part of a group, whatever that group is, that feels that you were either victimized by another group or that you were the aggressor against another group, don't worry about forgiving that group. Forgive the people. Talk to the people, connect with them, and find a way to forgiveness. We're all going to be in a much better place. You said
if I can piggyback on that, Jeff, because I really like where you're going. Find a way, offer that forgiveness, because guess what? Those people are going to still have to live with the consequences of their choices and their actions.
Exactly. It doesn't condone them. It doesn't say that you agree or approve of what it was. You're releasing that energy. And another piece to that, they don't have to accept that forgiveness. That's not, I mean, that's great. But that's a them. That's a them thing. Yeah. And I think we saw that, right? We saw that in that episode 2 was Londo asking, apologizing to G'Kar. This is 16 episodes later that G'Kar actually gives the forgiveness.
That's where that happened.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a long time. And so this isn't quick, but it's powerful. And you said it. G'Kar forgave him and freed Londo. I think in that moment, Londo was like, okay, I can do this. I can play this role. I can save my people by sacrificing myself because now I have forgiveness.
Yeah. He has his redemption piece.
Yep.
Right.
Right there.
And if I may just add a personal deal.
Of course.
If you have somebody who needs forgiveness, somebody you're holding on to something for about, you take as long as you need, but it doesn't have to take 16 episodes.
No.
That can actually go a lot quicker. And frankly, the sooner you do it, the better it will be.
Can I get woo on this a little bit? Like a little crazy with it? So yeah, not
it's your show, brother. Let's go. It's your show too. Let's do it.
I shared earlier a little bit about my mental health journey, and a big part of my poor mental health a year ago, and that I'm still working on, was my inability to forgive some other people and to forgive myself for some stuff. And I got some guidance from therapist, and so I have started, like, I meditate. I started journaling. So for those of you that know me, that's kind of a big deal. But they said part of the thing is there were people I needed to offer forgiveness to that aren't with us anymore. They've since passed. And so how do you do that, right? And so he said, whether it's someone who's here or not, we all have a higher being. We have a piece of us that is more than us in our petty little human worries, right? Oh, my hairline. Oh, what does my breath smell like? What if I say there's a piece of us that doesn't care about any of that. And we can access that person whenever we want. It's not easy, but we can. And that person, that higher person, doesn't judge, doesn't have judgment. It's just the core of you or that other person. So they said, get yourself in a meditative, relaxed, calm state, know what you want to say, and have your higher person have a conversation with their higher person. Say the things that you need to say. They won't be judged. They won't be weighed in any way, but you get to say them, and then you get to offer forgiveness. And again, forgiveness can be a one-way. It's awesome when it's offered and accepted. Man, that's the best. That's great. But the real power in it comes when you forgive. That's you releasing that energy and going.
Yeah.
So like it's possible. It can happen. But do, like to your point, Brent, take your time. Don't dive into it, but do it. Do it. A line
the sooner
you've
the better.
used.
The sooner the better. But it's okay to take your time with it. You don't just have to be there, because honestly, if you force it before it's time, then it's disingenuine.
Yeah. And in fact, the thing I've learned, especially in forgiving myself, which I'll tell you, a lot harder than it sounds. But the thing is, you actually never stop forgiving yourself. You do it a lot. And I have a personal mantra that I may feel comfortable sharing someday, but I forgive myself every single day. Cause I have to keep that moving for myself. And that's a me thing. It may not be what you need, but it works for me but I think the point, Brent, you've said this more than once on this podcast is, by not forgiving someone, holding on to that, it's the equivalent of you drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Yep.
Just don't work that way.
As you talk about all that, because this episode really does feel like the conclusion in many ways to me of 5 seasons worth of story. But particularly between G'Kar and Londo, right? Not the entire run of Babylon 5, but it has unfolded over the course of the entire run of Babylon 5. And something I have said on this show many times that I'm going to bear, it bears reiterating here. I think one of the worst lines in any movie ever comes from the movie Frozen, when people say, we're not saying you can change them, because people don't really change. And I fully reject that idea.
Your Honor, I present Exhibit A, Londo Mollari.
People, G'Kar of Narn, whatever it says,
Smith.
Yeah, there you go. People change. And this is Londo going through a change, becoming somebody, honestly, becoming his real self of who he was back in season 1. G'Kar becoming his better self. I don't know where G'Kar goes from here, but I promise you, G'Kar having forgiven Londo is going to walk out of this episode freer, not tied down, and able to do things he was not able to do before. Go places he was not able to go before. I don't know what that means for him as the new religious leader of the Narn, the religious figure icon or whatever. But G'Kar is going to be able to do some stuff he wasn't able to do before. He's going to be able to lead in a way he wasn't able to do that. All right. All of that said, Jeff, questions come down to how intentional was this episode about delivering that message? That always factors into it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot in here. I'm not sure if we nailed exactly what JMS was going for when he wrote it, but there is a lot of that in there. We also factor into the idea of how Babylon 5 was this. How unique to Babylon 5? What message did this deliver? And frankly, Jeff, this delivered a message no other show could have done it like this. Certainly not in the 90s, because this is not something that can be delivered in 45 minutes. Unlike a Star Trek message. Like, this is something that requires depth, it requires planning, it requires the long game, and you've got to be in it, and you've got to go through the valleys in order to come to the peaks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's multiple valleys and multiple peaks as you're going through the whole thing. So I think, Jeff, I'm hesitant to give this 5 white stars because I don't know that it's all the way there. But I think there's a lot more in this episode. I can't wait to come back to this episode of Babylon 5 for the second time, because I think the further I go, the more I think in rewatching, I'm almost jealous of the folks who are doing this rewatch, because they've been watching all of this story unfold, knowing that we get here. You and I haven't known that this is where this is going. So I got to imagine this episode is going to mean so much more when we do the rewatch and have gone through knowing this is how it comes out.
Yeah.
Than we can even begin to fathom right now here in our first watch. So I'm going to do 4 white stars on this episode, but I'm putting an asterisk next to it. Cause I did find, listen, this was a great episode of TV.
Yep.
My word was thought provoking. This is a great episode of TV. It's a good episode. Thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It also had a lot going on with it.
A lot.
And it, in many ways, drew things in. And I can only imagine what we do with Londo here over the next 4 episodes.
This would be an impossible episode. This would be an impossible first episode of Babylon 5 for someone to watch. And watch it and be like, oh, okay, so dude's a jerk now? Is that what's going on?
Yep.
Oh, why don't you listen to this 1.5 hour long conversation these two guys had about how he's a jerk now, but he's not a jerk. He's actually a hero.
Yeah.
But he's being a jerk to be a hero.
And we still kind of like, I don't feel like we've, honestly, Jeff, I'm at the end of this episode. I still don't feel like we've hit the target yet.
Yeah.
I feel like we're still kind of circling around it, because it's
well, I think we still need the rest of the story. We still, like, we know where it's going to go, but there's 4 more episodes.
4 more episodes.
Could
that's
happen
right.
in.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a couple movies.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens there either. So
exactly. Yep. Nope. Good rating. I agree. That's good. I love the asterisks on it.
Well, speaking of rating, Jeff, you get to place this one in our rating, our ranking, as it were, our 100% completely accurate, definitive, stone-clad ranking of season 5 of Babylon 5. Our current top 5 episodes. Number 1, The Very Long Night of Londo Mollari. Number 2, All My Dreams Torn Asunder. Number 3, Movements of Shadow and Fire. Holy cow. 2 of the last 2 episodes are right there in the top 3. No Compromises in at number 4, and Learning Curve is in at number 5. Jeff, where are we placing The Fall of Centauri Prime? Is it in the top 5 or not?
I'm not going to mess around with this one very much. This one is in the top 5. It is in the top 3. It is, Mr. Allen, the new number 2 episode of this season. And I'll tell you, a big part of my thinking on that is the fact that we spoke now for well over an hour, haven't hit the target on what this is. But also it is the arc of The Very Long Night of Londo Mollari and apologizing, and then the actual forgiveness being offered here in the fall. It's the fall of Centauri Prime, but like the rise of Londo in a really weird way.
Yeah. I like these two being right up against each other. Again, I really think that this is one of those, come back to us on the rewatch, because I think we're gonna mine so. I know my Star Trek podcaster self knows there is so much more in this episode that we have not mined yet, that we can't keep going right now. But coming back and seeing this again and again, and there's depths to the show you and I haven't even scratched yet.
Yeah, we don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for the fall of Centauri Prime. Next week, we're watching The Wheel of Fire for the very first time. Now, we don't know anything about these episodes. All we know is the title. We don't look at thumbnails. We don't read synopses, descriptions, anything. And the fun game we love playing and that people like playing along with is where we predict what the next episode's going to be about based on the title alone. Brent, you get to go first and tell us what you think The Wheel of Fire is going to be about.
You know, Jeff, we come up on these kind of titles every once in a while, and I'm so mad at you, because you've known this title for at least the last hour and a half.
Yeah, like 2 days.
Maybe longer. Like what?
Like 2 days this time.
Like 2 days. This is the first time I'm hearing it. You've had all this time to think about it. I've got 30 seconds to pull this out of the air. Jeff, I have no idea. I don't know where we go from here. I mean, what's left? Sheridan still has to bring the alliance back together, right? that's the telepaths have to find a home, I guess. Like, we got the telepath. I mean, Jeff, we're running out of episodes for Bester to come back and do this whole thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm getting nervous.
I'm getting real nervous. Wheel of Fire. This could be Lita and Bester squaring off.
You think?
Maybe, I don't know. You know what Wheel of Fire reminds me of? Isn't that a circus term? Isn't that like a thing in the circus, the Wheel of Fire that goes around? So maybe there's Sheridan or Lita. I'm gonna go with Sheridan because he's like our hero right now. There's like a stunt that he has to do that seems really, really dangerous. That's gonna get everybody back together in the alliance. Like there's something he has to do that's super dangerous, and you know, it's almost like a circus stunt. Like it's probably gonna be so bizarre and weird. And that's all I got, Jeff. I'm grasping at straws. What do you got? That you've been thinking about this for 2 days. Let's see how good you can do, pal.
So about like two days, and this
I got 30 seconds. You got 2 days. What's up, man?
This is like what I go. This is it. I don't know where to go from here. We have just a few episodes left. There's a lot of character threads that are left hanging. So this is what I think. I think Wheel of Fire is a metaphor for this wheel. I think that we have set up that Franklin is heading back to Earth to take over Dr. Kyle's position at the end of the show. I think that we agree that Garibaldi at some point is going to go back to Mars and be with his wife or marry Lise or whatever.
Yeah. I think they've telegraphed that for us. They've set that up that's where he's going.
So I think in this one, the wheel is going to be kind of spinning around. We're going to get the Sheridan and Delenn next steps, the G'Kar next step, the Zach next step, the Lita next step.
It's a little early for that.
Well, I think it's just to say this is going to be the kind of slow episode.
Okay.
That sets that up and then gives us, because here's the thing that we know also. We know that the finale, episode 22, was actually meant and filmed to be episode 22 of the fourth season.
And they just lifted it and set it like, as far as you and I understand, they didn't film any new scenes for it. Like,
that's my understanding.
They just went, whoop. So we really only have 3 episodes left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so in that, they got to do that now so they can do boom, boom, and finish out the stuff they're doing and then bring us back to whatever the intended ending was meant to be.
So in Deep Space Nine terms, this is the episode where the crew is in Vix and we're saying goodbye with a much better 3.5 minute long song than what we got out of Walkabout.
Oh my God, I forgot about
myself. That. But you remember that scene in Deep Space Nine, like you're going across and you're having memories of everybody, but also like the crew of the show is actually populating the audience and stuff like that. Like real touching scene. And then afterwards, you went and had the big climax of the show.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is like that little breather where we're kind of saying bye to everybody, kind of doing whatever, and then the next 2 episodes, I guess, become the finale of the show, and then we get the finale
of the series.
Yeah.
Because I think that like what that did in Deep Space Nine that we'll do here is remind us that we love these characters.
Yeah.
We know that, but like we've been in this turmoil. So this episode's going to be like, hey, remember this cool stuff? Remember this cool stuff? This is going to happen later. We have a future for everyone at the end of this that we might screw up in the next couple episodes. We'll see.
I have no idea where this is.
No clue. Like in a way, this could be the end, right? Like, okay, it's over, but we got a couple more.
And I think in back ahead of another. Yeah, like we have 3 episodes to wrap up the stories from season 5 that JMS has reset into motion, because that last one is the thing. And really those last 2, it wouldn't shock me if the last 2 were a sort of unofficial part 1, part 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they go hand in hand to wrap up the season. Like it wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah. I think that might be how we think of it, right? We're going to have the season finale and then the series finale.
Enterprise had that.
It did. It just had a finale for a different series at the end of its series. Hey, make sure you're here next week because we're going to find out what this episode is all about. Make sure that if you haven't already, you've subscribed wherever you're listening or watching us. Leave us a rating and a review. Share this podcast with someone who loves Babylon 5 or is about to fall in love with this incredible series. I can't wait until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, what's up?
So, as the show Babylon 5 and Babylon 5 for the first time kind of wraps up here, I just want to, here at the end of the show, I just sort of want to take a moment and say just how much I have loved having you as a podcast partner. You have been amazing, and I'm really going to miss you when this is all done, man.
I know. But also, thank you. But this isn't the end, right? Like, we have movies, JMS's autobiography, Claudia Christian's autobiography, Babylon 5 for the second time. Like, we've got...
Okay, so this just got awkward.
Don't worry about it. I didn't quite catch what you heard. It's probably fine. Hey, let's get the hell out of here, man.
Initiating getting the hell out of here maneuver.
We're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
Club 65.
What's up?
I have a confession to make, Jeff.
Okay.
We kind of said it at the end. I don't feel like we've done this episode justice.
Yeah?
I really don't.
You want to do a part 2?
No. Part 2 will happen when we do Babylon 5 for the second time and we come back around to this one.
That's fair.
I'm real serious. I think this I really feel like this episode lands differently when you rewatch the series knowing where this is going, and probably where we, over the next three episodes where we know where that lands as well.
Yeah.
So I want to give it that breathing space. There's so much in this episode that happens that it's not hard to comprehend on a first watch. That's not the right phrase, but there's the depth of what has really just occurred.
There's comprehension and then there's analysis, right? And I think that we may have reached an understanding, but we haven't really gotten into what we can truly analyze in this. It's like, hey, here's the low-hanging fruit that we were able to see in our limited perspective at this point.
Yeah. I think so.
You have that piece. I feel like we really missed an opportunity in this one.
Uh-oh.
I thought of it just as I was wrapping up, and I was like, last week you said, hey, this really should start off with a previously on Babylon 5.
Previously on Babylon 5.
And this one did, and we didn't even bring it up.
It was in my notes.
Yeah.
I folks that read my show notes, it was there, and it said it's not often we get a previously on. There it is.
I think it's our third.
I
think it's our third one.
Is our third one? That's not counting War Without End and Voice in the Wilderness Part 2.
So I don't think we necessarily got him in those ones. We had one that Sinclair voiced. We have this one that I grabbed from whatever episode it was that Delenn did. And then we have this one. Who did this? Was that Garibaldi? Yeah.
Yeah. Garibaldi did this one. Yeah. It's too bad it wasn't Ivanova.
Yeah.
It'd be just great to hear her voice.
I'm so thankful that I threw her into the intro just because we get her on the in, we get her on the out.
Yeah. She stays around. I like it. So yeah. Jeff, was there anything you didn't talk about in the episode tonight that maybe you had notes for? Or
I had a lot of notes. I had a lot of notes on this one.
Yeah.
Trying to see. I liked the piece when I think it was Lanier who said they were talking about life support and how much they had left. And he's like, maybe it's better that we don't know. And I'm like, yeah, I think that is better.
Mm-hmm.
I would like
well, I mean, so that question right there, like, is it better to know when you're going to die or to be surprised by it? Like,
surprised.
That's the thing that Captain Pike is going through with Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Is he's had this vision of the future. He knows what's getting ready to happen. He knows where it's coming. He knows where his mortality is. So what is that? Do you remember, again, to go back to Star Trek, at the end of Generations when Kirk dies and he goes, oh, right before he dies. You remember that? And there's always been this long time question of what was that? What did he see? What happened? And I don't know if you've ever read up on that or anything. Have you ever read? Do you know what that is?
Isn't that him being like, oh, this is how it happens?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. That's William Shatner said it, is like, oh, this is death.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Like, that's literally what it was. So, and I think that wasn't in the script. That was an acting choice he made.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because William Shatner's actually a good actor, despite the fact that pop culture has told us he's terrible. But
Right.
look at any of
Right.
That's a whole.
You know, I remember. I mean, Chekhov. Not Chekhov.
George
What's his name? Koenig. Walter
Oh.
Koenig. He said that very same thing about. Well, he's like, I am sick and tired of hearing people talk about William Shatner not being a good actor. He's a phenomenal actor, and that's coming from, one of the guys that Shatner maybe not have had the greatest relationship with.
Yeah. Someone who is shattered. Shatnered.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. The only thing I had really was that the Drahk had a brilliant plan, using the Regent as the scapegoat and setting it like that was some really next level great stuff.
Yeah, I can't I should keep that. I said he put Londo in a no-win scenario.
Mhm.
Like Londo's only choice right there, honestly, is just survive until help comes.
Yeah.
Until you can do whatever. And I mean that gets him to the don't kill the one who is already dead, which is you pointed out at some point. That is Sheridan. I agree. I think that's 100%. I think that's Sheridan.
Or maybe it's him.
Who, Londo?
Londo is already dead.
No, I think it's Sheridan. Sheridan died going down Zahadum, all that sort of stuff. We didn't know that at the time, but we now know that, and I 1,000% think that's who that is. Although
I agree, but
I hear and appreciate what you're saying there.
It's just an idea.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. So, anyway, hey,
it's cool to hang out with Club 65 a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks. We've had some chaos. So
yes, chaos being lots. Okay, interesting concept though. Walking into these I'm going to call it last 3 episodes, because we know that fourth one is a series wrap up, or we're assuming it's a series wrap. What else could it be, right? Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm loving the end of this season.
Agreed.
I'm like, for as much crap as we gave the first 15 episodes of the season.
I was just thinking about, we're gonna have our wrap up here pretty soon, which next week we're gonna need to talk about the giveaway and the stuff.
Oh, so
just thought of that, but I was thinking about the wrap up today on how
we've had our giveaway since season 3.
Yeah, heads up.
It's been hanging out here at the house since season 3.
But it's cool. It's very cool, by the way.
It's very cool.
But
I'll show you guys next week.
But I was thinking about how, like, we're going to go through and we're going to look at the rankings. We went through the 4th season and we kept it as it was. I don't think we're going to this time. I think we're going to know more. But I was just thinking how, like, one of the analyses we do is kind of what's that halfway point? What's the top half? What's the bottom half? And I cannot think of a season that will be more clearly delineated than this one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I'm eager to wrap this up and be able to start talking about this stuff with you guys in Club 65, with our YouTube folks, with the folks over on our Discord, folks on Patreon. What do the people out there think of season 5?
Yeah.
Because season 5 is an entirely different animal than seasons 1 through 4. It feels like
we've gotten some pretty mixed feed. The little bit that has made it through has been mixed.
Yeah.
Some people, like, there are people, I won't name you, you're safe, but there are people out there who love the Byron storyline, and I'm sure they're okay people. I'm sure they're great.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
They're welcome here.
Yeah, totally.
Listen, love that you love it.
What do we always say? Yeah, every episode's somebody's favorite. So
everyone of them. So
even Phoenix Rising. Hey, on that note, what do you say we call it?
Let's call it. Hey guys,
disgustingly hot up here. I want to take this shirt off.
There you go.
And not on camera.
No, please don't. We will be back next week with, was it Wheel of Fire? Jeff, I'm going to go watch this one right now, because now
serious?
Oh yeah, I've got to know what's going on with this one. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us, Club 65. Make sure you get your gear, all that sort of stuff, and let's get out of here.
We'll see you.